I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, AfterBuzzers? How are you guys doing? Of course, it's Monday here, which means last night somebody found love live on TLC, and we are here to talk all about it. My name is Mike Keeling. I'm joined by my amazing panel. To my left on my screen is Regina.
Hey, what's up?
And down in the corner, according to me, is Nate.
It's funny that you said that because I'm like, well, who's left of him right now? Because Mike's left of me and you guys keep moving around.
Man, that's Zoom for you right there. We don't know where anybody is. Guys, welcome back. Glad to see you for another week right here. You guys know how we do this show. We've got two lucky singles, one a celebrity. Let's go minor celebrity or major celebrity for TLC at least. Sister show here on the same channel. And we're going to run down their dating efforts here with the singles that called in. And we're just trying to get love live right there last night. Today, this is the second episode. So I feel like they've been building on it somewhat. First up, let's just get some overall thoughts, how the show is kind of evolving. Regina.
Well, as we said last week, they have a lot of cleaning up to do as far as the format and how the contestants question and converse with one another. So to me, that's a weakness for the show. And they definitely need to clean that up. But, and also, I'm out for equal time. I don't think because they have a celebrity that you should hog all the time for the second contestants.
And get a fourth person that's a possible.
Yeah, oh God, that was so tacky.
Nate, what do you think overall, man?
Okay, I'm trying to come from the perspective that this is just so new. This is so different. So I'm judging them at a lower level. Okay, I'm not judging them how it should be. So I am proud
expectations.
Yes, I'm lowering the expectations. So I am proud of their growth. So like you said, they had all three contestants on there. They were a little bit more organized. You can tell that people did have their questions ready, and they kind of had an idea of what was going to go on. Still, the guys, when they were supposed to dance, they didn't dance. They were just standing there, so they kind of
they need to drop that segment.
That segment needs to go. But I think part of it, though, they need to go and start talking to the contestants more and telling them that we're on a time limit, because you can tell Suki as a host, like, she's trying to gather them back together. But these are people who don't really know TV that well, and so they're just like they want to get their words out there, and they think they have unlimited time. Which I think that's why the second half and the second contestant really didn't get that much time. I think they had more things planned, but everyone was running their mouth in the first half, so they couldn't get there. But they did grow a little bit.
Go ahead.
But they did grow a little bit as a show, but they still have a lot of work to do.
They don't have a good sense of the timing, and especially you're dealing with, just like you said, at least four. So four is the contestants, right? So throughout the entire night, about 10 people who are not hosts, who aren't used to being on TV, who don't get time limits and stuff like that. It's very different watching than when you're actually on performing. So absolutely, that's difficult. Suki's doing a good job trying to rein him in. But again, because I think they're going so much for this live aspect that it waters down so much of anything that could actually be produced. It's not like these people called in throughout the week and said, I want a shot at dating Jesse. So then a producer could talk to them and say, cool, you're going to be on. This is what you're going to do. Ostensibly, they're calling in right then and there. And so there's very little, maybe that will in turn iron itself out as people who are watch week after week, and they finally become a contestant and they say, okay, now I know what to do.
Well, perhaps. And I do have a bit of news to kind of shed some light on.
We saving it for the end?
Shed some light on it. Shed some light on what you just said.
Okay, do you want to save it for the end?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's just jump into these dates right here. First off, of course, shout out to our very own AfterBuzz producer, Bree, who just loves 90 Day Fiance. So this would have been the time for her to call in and try to find love live, because we had Jesse, of course, famous 90 Day Fiance person. I watched bits and pieces of the show. Do either of you guys watch 90 Day?
Not
I plead the fifth.
Well, you know, Jesse came over from Europe to date a woman named Darcy. They had a very up-down, rocky relationship all over the place. I think Jesse's been on both 90 Day Fiance and also before the 90 Days. They split up, but then they respectively have been with other people on subsequent series or seasons, of the show. So he's been around the block on 90
Yeah.
Day Fiance. And of course, he's got a lot of lady fans out there who love this guy. So people were jumping at the opportunity to try to get in touch with him. And we got 3 ladies for him right off the bat. We got Natalie, Angel, and Vivi. Nate, overall thoughts of these ladies to kick us off.
Overall, I love Vivi. That was my favorite initially. And Natalie looked really, really different from her
picture.
Yeah, from her picture, looked completely different.
Nate's calling out catfish right away.
Completely different. But again, not like catfish.
Is it bad? I noticed that too right away.
Yeah, I noticed it right away. And it wasn't catfish. I just expected in general, all women now online, that they look not completely different, but it's just night and day. Filters, all that extra stuff. The other girls, they kind of look normal, but she was a little different. And then I did love, what was the middle girl?
Angel.
I loved Angel. I'm so surprised that he let her go, but I love Angel. So I love those two, and I didn't like Natalie.
Shocked that Angel was let go first. I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna go. I thought Natalie was gonna go first, and Angel's gonna win. And he was like, I'm gonna eliminate Angel first. I was like, really? Regina, what do you think of the ladies?
You know, I agree with Nate that Natalie did not look like her picture. Her hair in a natural curly state was real sexy, gorgeous. I was not surprised that he cut Angel, that she was the first one, because he's European. And I just think he wasn't attracted to her.
Okay.
I just didn't see him, gravitating towards her. Vivi, go ahead. She was like really outgoing.
Yep, absolutely. I think to be completely fair as possible to Natalie, because I like to go in on the reality show people when we cover the shows, but these are truly just regular old folks calling in. I'm pretty sure Natalie really underdid her makeup, and that's why the picture looks so. I think she sent in a picture that was really done up, like kind of done up, makeup ready, and she underdid it a little bit. So this is probably why she looks a little bit different.
Well, Natalie, if you're out there watching, we love you guys. It wasn't a shot, because when I get to the guys for the second, the contestant, we'll talk about them, but they really looked fake. They all look completely different.
I'm going to give you about as much time to talk about the guys as they had on TV last night.
But wait, I want to ask Nate. He seems smitten by Natalie. Now, if she's on the show in the next couple of weeks, are you gonna phone in? And
no, not at all. My choice, Natalie would have been my last choice anyway. My choice would have been, honestly, probably Angel, but it would have been Vivi or Angel. But I actually ended up liking, I loved Angel. That was my choice, but I ended up loving Vivi and how her personality, the way that she answered all of the questions. When America didn't choose her at first, she was just like, I don't care about America. Like, some people are going to like you, you don't. So her personality actually did grow on me within that little bit of time, but my choice was Angel.
I would say, too, as a happily married man of a while now, I have no shame to admit it. My choice is Angel. We're going to talk about their answers and stuff. But when she was eliminated, I was shocked. And I was like, wait, there's going to be some crazy stuff about this. So I Googled it immediately. And she came up, her Insta. So Nate, slide in, man. Like, go for it. Like, you could hit her up in quarantine. She's still just out, in the.
I'm on the way, because I thought about last night. I was like, I wonder if it's gonna be easy to find these people on social media.
I tried to find.
Don't be a weirdo,
too. I tried to find Vivi too, because when she was eliminated, because I was surprised about that, but I couldn't. But Angel popped like really quick, so maybe we could do our own AfterBuzz version.
Why?
I really liked that from the first episode, they let these girls answer at least one question before we just straight up eliminated them based on looks alone, because I thought that was really crummy. So he asked them, to describe themselves. Natalie was adventurous, talking about going to Brazil and paragliding and traveling, all this stuff. Angel said she was just fun. And then Vivi was supposed to use one word, but she used like 8, right? And said she was confident and sexy and all this stuff. Suki's second question really fell flat. Do you care how many people your partner is up with? We're all like, no, we're adults. That's stupid. And just kind of shut that down. And pretty much after that, we had our first elimination. And just like we said, Angel was the first to go. Nate and I surprised. Regina, not surprised at all.
No.
Fair enough. Women's intuition better than us.
Why did you guys pick Angel?
Because she was gorgeous and she seemed really cool.
It had nothing to do with the low cut top.
No, because Vivi had a pretty low cut top too, to be fair. I mean, I just thought she was really attractive, and the answer she gave sounded cool.
Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just really, really attracted to Asian women right now. So when we're going off of this like clickbait thing right now, yes, like when I saw her, that's why I wanted. But that's why eventually Vivi, I was like, I kind of do like her personality. She's kind of out there. But it's funny that you said the low cut. I felt like Vivi.
She was
am I saying her name right? Vivi or Vivi?
I think it's Viviana, so Vivi. I think.
Vivi, yeah. I felt like she was a more sexually out there than Angel was, but I know you were right. I didn't notice the low cut.
Yeah, we noticed it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay.
You can't not notice it. It was so Vivi, just like Nate said, continuing to be outgoing, actually said, "Let's make Darcy jealous." And I thought it was funny that she first called her Daisy, and it came off somehow on the show like she was taking, like that was kind of rude for her to not know the name. But I took it different. I thought that was a pretty cool dig at the ex-girlfriend. Like, who is she anymore? I don't know. That's what I thought. And what else do we have here? You know, Jesse asked some okay questions, but then we went to commercial and then we came back and now we see a little bit of the show evolving, right? Jesse is a TV personality already. He knows how to kind of milk it. He's used to having a whole show just for him. So that's another reason why I think the show went a little bit long. But coming out of the commercial as opposed to last week, and maybe because he's a celebrity and had so many people calling in for him, guys, we get a fourth girl coming in now. I just said, so let me go. Regina, you're shaking her head right away. What did you think of this twist, let's call it?
Totally tacky.
How come?
I mean, you know, these girls, he eliminates Angel. I mean, and then he comes up with this third girl out of nowhere after they're, you know, hoping to win him over. And here comes this third girl, which I didn't think was that hot.
Okay. Nate, what did you think of the
she
twist?
Was as hot as Vivi.
I like the twist at first, because again, like last week we talked about, this show needs more. So you can see they're trying. You see that they're trying things out, figuring
Throwing
it out.
different stuff.
I was excited at first. Oh, okay, we have someone new on the show. But you got to go, because then now the timing was so messed up. We didn't get to know who Maya was. So we didn't get to know anything about her. He had to choose right away. So to me, that's what it was?
Her name was Haya.
In my notes, it says Maya. I don't.
It's Maya, but with an H, pronounced Haya.
Oh, yeah. Either I typed it wrong or I was just, I wasn't thinking of it. Sorry, Haya. Names are important, so thanks for correcting me. But it was too fast. So I kind of thought they scheduled it like, okay, we're going to bring this girl on. You have to kick someone off and you have to keep her on here. Because if it was me, like when I was watching, I was like, no, you have to go. Like, bye, girl. I'm sorry, you were late for the party. Bye. Everyone else, they already earned their stripes. And so I was mad that they brought her back on. I don't like that.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was interesting. I like that they're trying new stuff, something different, something to throw it around. And I think, again, at the end of this episode, we'll hear Regina's news, but let's also put out, again, some thoughts on what we'd like to see kind of moving forward, because I have some thoughts on the kind of the format of the show and how I think it could be even better. I don't mind a new person coming in. I think that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind throwing it up. It's not like they've been dating for even a week or anything, and the show was really sabotaging. It's just kind of more elements and given, I think part of it is increasing viewership. So if I think I've got even more of a chance to get on, I'm more likely to watch, I'm more likely to call in rather than 3 and done. Maybe they get a lot of people tuning out. So if they know, hey, you might still have a chance to keep calling in because we might just shove you in there after the first elimination, maybe they keep some people hanging around. So we get a couple more questions. What do you guys think overall of Jesse's questions? What would your pet name be for me? Are you jealous of other women because I do a lot of appearances is basically what he was trying to say, right, for his shows. What'd you think, Nate?
I just felt like, I don't understand the point of the questions. Like, if we're trying to get to know someone this fast in this small moment to see if I want to go on another date with you, who cares about the pet names? Like, I feel like those are just like automatic. The jealousy part, that's something I might have asked, because that's something that is serious. You know, jealousy is an issue. I can't stand personally jealousy. I understand jealousy, but there has to be a line where you have to be able to control and know the difference and then trust that I love you enough. But it does take the man's part as well, that we have to make them feel secure. But so I did like that question, but I hated the first one. I was like, there's no point. I even wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, to be honest with you,
he asked this
my
question.
notes got a little jumbled. I'm not sure at what point he eliminated Natalie, but it comes down to Heya and Vivi, obviously. Regina, what did you think of the questions? To me, I kind of agree with Nate. These don't seem like questions designed to see if we should have a first date.
They were weak.
Yeah.
They weren't really very well thought out. And I
Right.
feel like, again, goes back to the producers of the show. And, maybe preparing the questions for him and letting him pick his own favorite ones out. Have something that's, got some substance to it. But I think, too, when he asked the question about, would you tell me if my breath was smelling bad? And then I think one of the girls, Vivi, didn't respond the right way and saying, yes, I would tell you. She was trying to have a little more class about it.
Right.
Whereas the other girl was like, oh yeah, I'll tell you if your breath is smelling bad right away. But that's not really an important factor in going on a date with somebody,
Right? Going on a date in general, or not even a first date. We got none of what's the best date you've ever been on? Where would you take me on a first date? What kind of food you like or anything like that? Yeah, the breath thing for Heya, or let's call her Pookie, as she likes to be called, I guess. That seemed really weak, but obviously that was the kind of the nail in the coffin for Vivi, who had been there from the beginning, seemed to be doing a good job, but he really liked Heya's answer with that. And I thought it was interesting. Heya, up until the point when they brought it up on screen, was winning America's vote at 67%. And then somehow it jumped over to Vivi with 60%, Regina.
Vivi out the gate was my choice because she was a very energetic girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she teased him with her Italian and all that.
Right.
So I think that really attracted him. But then when Heya came in, it kind of flipped, because I think he could see, well, he's living in New York now. This girl is American, yada, 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 as opposed to this girl that's from Italy. And there, at some point, our cultures may clash.
Well, is this part of your news or no? Because when I was Googling stuff, I don't want to, but people were saying that he picked Heya, potentially maintaining that 90-day fiance kind of theme of like green card stuff for Jesse. I read that.
That wasn't my news.
It wasn't your news. I didn't think so.
That's not the news, but we're on the same wavelength as far as that goes.
But I read that and I thought, okay, I feel like we're reading into this a little bit much. These are silly quarantine dates that are probably never going to happen anyway. This isn't like a big commitment. I don't know. Nate, what'd you think of the final pick with Heya here?
I was
or Maya, if you want to call her that.
Maya. I'm going with Maya. No, I'm going with Heya. Name's important. Okay, I'm respecting Heya. I was mad because, for one, I feel like when she was answering her questions, she wasn't really answering. She just kept going in circles and circles and circles and saying things that kind of sounded good. And then she ended up at the end. Sometimes I talk like that, where I don't really know how to answer something, so I just talk. And eventually people just listen and it's like, all right, everything's good. So I noticed that she didn't answer the questions. Two, I hate in situations like this where someone may ask you a question, and we'll talk about it with the men too, about, if you have to go to the bathroom.
Wants to destroy these guys.
I do. Right. It's just like, okay, if my breath stinks on the first date, you know that you're not going to just flat out tell your date that. Let's be real. We're going to do it in a mindful manner. We're like, okay, let me give you this breath mint, or in a different way. And so when Vivi answers that way, it's like, that is the most humanistic, real way to truly, what we all probably will do until you're married to someone. And then you're like, dude, your breath stinks. Go brush your teeth. That's a whole different story. So I hate the scripted answer. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll tell you your breath stinks. No, you probably wouldn't. But so I was irritated that he chose her simply off of that. I literally was in shock. When I heard it, I was like, wait, what? He chose her over Vivi? But I'm bothered. I also want to add this though, because I'm done. But they didn't put the ages on there this time. You guys notice that?
That's right.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Right.
They did. They were listening to us too.
Wonder what happened.
Yeah. It's getting interesting, right? They're doing it's almost on the fly changes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't know what to think. He eliminated Angel right off the bat, so he immediately lost credit with me right away, of course. And Nate, we're going to stand up for Angel here.
That top worked.
It did. Worked on us. What I think was Heya to me sounded more real. I don't know if that's a good description, but her answers to me, I know what you're saying, Nate, but it sounded less phony. It sounded less put on for TV. It sounded like she was more being a real person. And for me, Vivi came with a kind of like, oh, all this Italian and all this, and it kind of seemed a little bit phony. I thought it was fun and vivacious and all that kind of stuff, but I was wondering if he wasn't kind of feeling that a little bit, and maybe you're not getting 100% the actual answer. I don't know. Either way, we got Heya, and I'm sure we'll see Jesse on another season of 90 Day Fiance at some point soon.
Well, you know, another thing about Heya is when she came on, she let him know that she was like a big fan of his from 90 Days.
Stroke the ego a little bit. All right.
So yeah, stroke the ego, watched you, know your likes and dislikes based on the show.
Yeah.
I'm American.
Perhaps.
You know, you're from Amsterdam.
Whoa.
You might want that green card at some point or whatever.
Well, he's stuck with her now or not.
Well,
maybe they'll talk, maybe not. We're going to move on to Sarah with the 10 minutes that they had left. This poor girl who's not a celebrity, who's probably legitimately looking, trying to find somebody. She's a New Yorker. She owns her own business, the decorating or organization business or whatever. I feel bad for some of these folks. They tell me, let's get a cool story. And she was like, I got dumped over the phone and got hit by a car while I was getting dumped. I was like, this is not a fun story. This is not something to toss out there. Felt bad for you. And she could do tricks with her mouth, evidently, that we never got to see because there wasn't enough time. So we don't know. Was she talking about tying a cherry stem together? Probably something like that. She got 3 dudes here: Daniel, Matthew, and Gustin. Okay. So let's go to Regina first. First thoughts of these 3 bachelors.
First of all, shout out because she's from Detroit, my hometown.
That's true. There you go.
All right. But anyways, Gustin.
Gustin.
The best thing, disgusting.
These guys are like caricatures of people.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to show up for a date. I don't care if you're home or not. Really, in your robe?
Sure.
Can't do better than that.
You know, maybe trying to make a statement. Immediately what I said was, wow, the guys are putting way less effort into this than the girls are. The girls, at least, we said Natalie, maybe she did it down a little bit, but still, makeup, they were all dressed up, they looked great, they looked like they were ready. These guys, I mean, the first guy was just chilling with his dog in the kitchen, Daniel. Matthew was like just tatted up, like in his, which is fine, but just like in his, little t-shirt, just like hanging out or whatever. And of course, with it, Dustin in his robe and cigar. He's got nothing better to do.
Daniel had his puppy, right?
Yeah, Daniel had his puppy, which is extremely endearing. Dustin loved the puppy. Nate, what did you think of our dudes right off the bat here?
I was mad. I was mad he brought the puppy.
Why?
Bro, don't bring the dog. You can't bring the dog here. It's about you and this girl right now. Why is the dog here? You're trying to use the dog. Wingman. They are, but you're trying to use the dog as your wingman. You're supposed to do it slickly, not when you're going on a date, on a dating show. No, you like kind of walk to the park, act like you're just walking, and then use him as a wingman. Not on the dates.
Nate's
so you just made me mad. He made me mad off the jump. You're doing too much. Now everyone's looking at the dog. We're not talking about you. You're annoying. The second guy, Matthew, I thought that he was a light-skinned black guy at first, and then all of a sudden he's just some Mexican guy from Georgie Shore or whatever he was. I don't know.
He's from Long Island.
Long Island. He was trying to
quarantine tan.
No, but he reminds me of the guy from Georgie Shore. Who's the guy from Georgie Shore? What's the guy's name? Paulie D.
Situation.
I don't know him, but he reminds me of that guy.
That's a good one.
And he was trying too hard with all of the little extra stuff. And then I actually liked Gustin. I just liked the vibe, dude. I was just like at first I was like, what is he doing? But then the way that he his personality when he came out was like, well, they told me to dress down. So I mean, that was his way to stand out by dressing down.
You got to give it to. He was having fun with it. I mean, he's not taking the show real serious, nor is it real serious.
He wasn't taking her serious.
Having fun. He probably had no intention of actually winning anyway, and looked like he was having a good time. Regardless, we barely got any time to get any kind of answers or a lot of stuff at all. They made them do the stupid dance-off thing once again. Daniel barely, he stood up, but the other guys, it looks like they just shut their mics off and they didn't even do anything. Gustin was talking more to Daniel, I think, than Sarah. We got a couple questions though. Let's go through them. This is so, I don't know. I thought this was so dumb. If you're sleeping over at, a boyfriend or girlfriend's house or whatever, or maybe a hookup is what it sounded like Sarah was doing, and you had a bad tummy ache, which I'm guessing is either gas or you have to go to the bathroom or something. And she's talking about escaping down the service elevator. My immediately thought was, I'm an adult, not a big deal. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I don't know, you could turn the sink on or be sly about it or something so you're not gross or whatever. But you're really going to dip out on somebody. Essentially, all the guys said the same thing except Gustin, who had some, I'm going to fart into a clean towel thing or something like that. Right?
Which was so crude.
We had to mute it out. I mean, Regina, this has nothing to do with a first date, right? Is this any way of judging men you might want to go on a date with?
No, not one of them to me were very suitable suitors.
Got it.
And the other thing I have to say is I didn't think Sarah was all that great either.
Regina likes nobody.
I did. I like Natalie and Vicky. I'm just saying she could have been a little more appealing.
Sorry. Yeah, Nate, what did you think of the bathroom question? That was a big question. You might want to date one of these guys. What's a vital thing to find out?
I think it was a stupid question. But then again, the responses, I think Gus was the best response. Like, in reality, if we're in this situation, we're going to try to find a way to sneak it. But if we have to, like you're saying, I'm not sneaking out of a service point. I'm not doing that. If I really have to take a number two and I got to go, baby, you don't have to hear about this. And either you break up with me now or it's over. But I'm going to try to hide it. Like, if it's the first date, if this is my wife, whole different conversation. Stupid questions, doesn't make sense. You guys are trying too hard to sound like I don't care. I'll poop in front of you. Like, let's be real sometimes. I don't know. They made me mad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think honestly, we're not going to be a Gustin apologist here, but I think he was just trying to have a good time and just be silly with what was going on. Anybody's taking this super serious, I don't know. You need to calm down, I think. Then I thought this was great. We have no time left in the show. Right? Barely 2-3 minutes. And so, yeah, one last question, Suki says. And so Sarah goes, okay, I want you guys to freestyle make up a rap for me that includes my name and also includes your occupation. I was like, are you serious? Like this, first of all, there's no way there's time for this. This is an freestyle rap. Okay, but then there's conditions and there's things that have to get in there. This is not an easy feat for 3 guys to do in like 2 minutes. I mean, Nate, did she ask one question that could be actually usable?
No, not at all. I actually got confused because I was looking at it and I'm like, well, maybe today is actually an hour and a half show. So I'm like thinking that they're about to go. Like, I was like, okay, this is fine. And then all of a sudden, Suki's like, no, choose right now. And so then I'm trying to figure out, is she telling her to cut one right now or like actually choose?
Right.
And it seemed like she was confused as well. So she was like, okay, I'll just choose. And then Gus was like, wait, hold on. I didn't even get the rap yet. Like,
that's right.
So
yeah.
It was unorganized. I think it started from the first half of the show, but they need to find out a way to either just choose one couple, whether it be a guy or a girl, maybe have it 2 nights a week and just 1 full hour for just a guy. And then you give them 3 girls, maybe even give them 5 girls and 2 substitutes. Like, so just to give that whole hour just to focus so you're not worrying about the second half, or maybe just make sure it's only 30 minutes. So cut the first half off early if you have to, if they're taking it too long.
But I will say the show moves pretty quickly for me, and that's in its favor. There's so much stuff to watch these days and blah, blah, blah. I like that it is a pretty fast paced, maybe because of all the stuff they're trying to throw in. At the end, we get some cooking stuff. That was silly. Gus, I like that Gus told Dan he made ahi tuna instead of Sarah. I just thought it was hilarious. I don't know. In the end, we pick Matt, the Jersey Shore guy that Nate hates. And there we are. We barely knew anything about it. So I don't know. Regina, did you like Matt at the end at all?
I didn't like him, period. I didn't like anybody. I mean, if I had to pick somebody, it would have been Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Just
to meet the dog.
Hey, at least you're getting something out of the deal. It was a cute dog, right?
Yeah, it was a cute
dog.
dog.
I didn't like any of the guys, but he would have been my choice. But I think too, with Jesse being like their celebrity,
Sure.
like mystery guest, they threw that fourth person in there for him. I'm not sure if it's going to be part of the format every week.
I don't know. We're gonna have to wait till next week to decide, because we got 2 more singles have found love right live with all of you guys watching along. Regina, take us through your news for today.
Okay, well, just a little news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
That originally, the show was meant to be an in-person experience, much like 90 Day Fiancé.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the quarantine, the show's producers had to think quick, and thus here we have Find Love Live.
There you go.
So that's the format, but they're thinking quick, but they need to keep thinking quicker and get the show really honed in, tightened up real good.
They need to, they're trying to adapt, they're trying to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's circle back around now to stuff, where we would like to see or some suggestions for the show moving forward. Nate, I thought what you were talking about before was great. Build on that for us a little bit real quick.
So I can say either 1 full hour and just have Jesse, not bring on a second whole group, but just Jesse. And then let's say we start with 3 girls and have 2 substitutions. So maybe Haya comes in. No, I don't like her. Send her away. Bring me another one. Or he can say, oh, I like these 3. Or he can start off with 6 girls and say, hey, just these pictures. Let's start with these 3.
Right.
We can they can get creative, but with the live, I just think it's too hard to fit that in 30 minutes for both couples. Or if you're going to do both couples, make sure you cut off the first couple at 30 minutes. At the 30-minute mark, if you have to rush them through it, like you had to rush through at the end, rush through the first 30 so that it's fair for the second half, because this is not fair for the girl, because she was confused. Like, she's like, wait, this is it?
Yeah.
She was confused. Everyone's confused. So I don't know. I know it's difficult on their side. And like Regina just said, I know that they're on the fly. So I get it from the producer standpoint, but they can do a lot better for sure.
Yeah, Regina, what do you think about making it just, just a guy and all the women, and then next week, the woman and all the guys, or whoever trying to match up, just one love story an episode?
No, I think two is great.
You liked it too.
You can get it done. Look what they do with The Bachelor, my God, you know that.
Yes,
so they can do it. But the other thing, they just have to really produce it. Mm-hmm. Even though it's live, they got to be ready to give them the questions. Suki has to stay on top of things as far as being host and moving it along. And the other thing they need to do is not promise that they're going to show the couple from last week's date.
Oh, we didn't see that, right?
Not at all.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They need to save that for a totally different show.
Yeah.
Near the end of the season, where they recap every one of the dates. Okay, TLC, are you listening?
They had them online, and it was like a 4-minute segment. It was boring.
It was boring. I personally, I didn't watch it. I could see it going either way. I like the idea of just having one love story an episode. I think they could do that, like Nate said, and bring in more people. I think they can still do 2 if they want, but they got to produce it more. They need to say, okay, Nate, you're going to be a contestant. We're going to let the people call in live, but what are your 3 questions? And then maybe the host has to ask the questions to keep them very, specific on track. And they can check in like, Nate, what did you think of that answer? Okay, cool. Nate's next question, ladies, is this, and keep it more regimented. Right now, it feels very unorganized. Oh, well, let's just dance. Or now, what's another question? Oh, well, let me see what I might, it's too disorganized. I'd also like to see more of the live aspect of the audience being involved. So especially if you started out with 4 people or even 3 or whatever, I think let the audience vote one away or eliminate or something like that.
Yeah,
that would keep everybody engaged and keep everybody watching more than just kind of seeing what's going to happen.
That's a great suggestion.
Also, kind of what you said about, we heard a little bit too much of Sarah's story. I don't think we need the initial upfront story on the original contestants. Like, we don't need to hear their whole backstory. I think we spent at least 15 minutes on Jesse. So I was thinking about, like, we're here too long. And maybe because of the 90 Day Fiancé, we're here too long.
It's a TLC plug. That's fair. We're not going to have these or hopefully they're not just going to bring people from their other series on every week. Although it's a smart advertising
It is smart.
vehicle, you can't kind of blame them. But yeah, that's right. We don't need to know that much background other than, maybe where do you live? What do you do for a living? What's your favorite activity or something? Who cares? Everybody's there to get a date. We get it, right? So get more interesting. I don't know, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. It's interesting to see, if nothing else, right? It's interesting to see a show evolve live because there are big changes this week from last week. And I'm kind of excited to stick around and see what happens next week. Until then, where can all of our friends find you, Regina?
At Regina Coles, guys. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Thanks so much. Stay healthy.
Nate?
You can find me at Royal Nate _. Don't forget the underscore. Please
don't forget it. Guys, thanks so much again for watching. Y'all know AfterBuzz has got you covered through this entire quarantine and beyond with all the shows that you guys love to watch. We love doing after shows for you. So if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a big thumbs up, some 5-star reviews if you're listening to us on any of your podcasting services, and leave all your comments. Let us know what you think of these picks. We're excited next week to see where Nate gets with Angel up in her DMs. My name is Mike Thieling. You can follow me everywhere at Mike Thieling, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.
Love you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.